Well, it's been quite a few days we haven't looked at Rook Endgames. So I think being Rook Endgames being the most complex endgames out there, I think let's brush up our knowledge on Rook Endgames and have a look at it. Some examples, of course. So I think for the convenience of studying Rook Endgames, we should split it into two parts. One is strategic Rook Endgames, and the other is tactical ones. So today we are going to have a look at some tactical themes, some tactical elements in the Rook Endgame. So here is one. As you can see, this is white to play. This position is white to play. White has a pawn on the 7th rank. Hmm, just a second. There you go. White has a pawn on the 7th rank, and you definitely would like to promote it. Obviously, the problem here is each time you move your rook, let's say you move it to c8, the problem is the black rook is staring at the pawn and he will like to capture it, and in that case, that will just be a draw. So that is a problem that white is facing over here. So is he winning or is just a draw? Take your time, pause the video if you can, and try to find the move that white should play here. Alright, if your answer is white is winning, you're definitely right. And if your move is rook to h8, you're absolutely right. Now let me explain how this move works. Well, it has to do with the position of the king. The king is actually on a very bad square. The king has to be on the g7 or the h7 square. I'm going to go in a little more depth in a while. So let's look at the solution first. Rook to h8 is the move that white should play. Basically, you shift the rook to the other side of the board, and this comes with a threat. White would like to push forward and promote to a queen. So black is now faced with a choice. He can capture the pawn or he can let this pawn promote. If the pawn promotes, black is definitely lost. So he just tries to capture the pawn, and here comes the point. White now plays rook to h7, and no matter where the king goes, let's say over here, doesn't really matter. We're gonna pick up the rook, and that is completely winning. Now let me explain you why the position of the king really matters over here. Imagine the king, rather than being on e7, is on a square like g7 or h7. Then you do not have the option to put the rook in the corner, and then you're definitely not winning because there is no skewer over here. You're gonna lose the rook if you put it over there. So in that case, if the king was on g7, it is just a draw. And if you're playing black in this kind of positions, all you have to remember is you should have your king on the g7 square or the h7 square, and all you have to do is just keep moving on g7 and h7, and you will have an easy draw. And whenever the rook moves away, you're gonna pick up the pawn very easily, and that's just a draw. So having the king on the g7 and h7 square or h7 square is the key to make a draw in this kind of positions. But having it anywhere else like the e7 square is completely losing thanks to this skewer idea of rook h8 and rook h7. Now, before we end the video, I'd like to give you a problem, give you a puzzle to solve, and you can write this answer in the solution. That's a Rook Endgame. So there we have it. I'm gonna set up the position. So there you go. I'm gonna leave you with this position, and it's a little more complex than the one we saw. The one we saw was kind of a basic one, but it has the same thing of skewer over here. So it's white to play and win the game. I'm gonna leave you with this problem, with this puzzle, and you have to solve it and write the answer in the comment section. I'm pretty sure my subscribers are quite brilliant, and specifically tactically they're quite sharp. So I'm pretty sure you guys will obviously easily find it. So write the answer in the comments and I'll check them, and let's see if you can spot it. It's white to play and win. So until next time,